Well, you may be happy to know that the Balkans is not in the headlines. I think I think that the less you're in the headlines, the better. You can get on with the problems that you face, and they are considerable, as I'm sure you are well aware. I know former Yugoslavia, and I've travelled to Serbia and indeed to Belgrade on a number of occasions, and a very wonderful city it is. The future for the Balkans, it seems to me, frankly, has to lie in membership of Western institutions, largely, however problematic that can sometimes be. And in other words, the future for the Balkans overall, or for the countries of former Yugoslavia, Greece, clearly must lie and for your own country in terms of a relationship with both the European Union and indeed with NATO. In a sense, they're the only two games in town. There are no other games in town. No country can exist and prosper and have security outside of a European Union, which admittedly is going through some difficult period, and a NATO which is trying to refocus its position. Now, being members of those organizations carries responsibilities, it carries duties, and it carries some troubling questions as well. So the future then, in that sense, lies in your own hands, in terms of your own economic reform, in terms of your own political reform, establishing the rule of law, working out good relations with, let's say, with countries with which we were once at war. That's always the most difficult thing to do, let's be honest. And at the same time, then working over the long term for, greater, as indeed your leadership has been doing, for greater integration and closer connections with both the European Union and NATO. In other words, you're a European country by definition, but you join European institutions and NATO as a transatlantic institution. That, to me, is the thing is, though, that all the things I'm talking about will always impact on the Balkans. If there's instability in the Middle East, it will impact on the Balkans. If hundreds of thousands of people are leaving Syria, they will come up through the Balkans. When I was in Athens last week, the largest new group of people trying to get into Greece, legally and illegally, are coming from Syria. And those who get into Greece will also come up through the Balkans. So these bigger, wider events, which I'm talking about, whether it's Russia, whether it's the situation inside the Middle East, will come to you. You may want to avoid the troubles in other parts of the world, but other parts of the world's troubles will always find you. And I think, and that in a way is why membership of these wider organizations, as I say, NATO, the European Union, whatever the problems politically it will present, and EU is not in a great state at the moment. Nonetheless, that seems to me the future for your country and indeed for the Balkans overall.